Might pull up in a Porsche.
Porsche Mod Squad here, and on this two-part series I will be going over how I turned my 2014 Cayman S into a 718 GT4RS replica minus the fenders. Those are still on the way, so everything has been completely changed over minus the engine and the intake system, just because they are different on the Caymans versus that. Everything has been supplied by frogvenom.com, Rennmeister.com, and brooksmotos wheels as well. So everything has been changed over, like I said, from them. So I'm going to drop their links in the bio, and if there's anything you guys want to see different or questions about this build, please drop them down below. And as always, like, share. Let's keep it going, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the content. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
So, okay, Matt's gonna borrow my fenders, and why did you need to borrow, Matt?
So, I'm actually working with a company called frogvenom.com. They specialize in a lot of 718 parts. So, anything carbon fiber, from GT4 wings, the brand new GT4RS wings, the side intakes like Gene has, the carbon fiber ducktails, mirror caps. They're actually producing GT4RS fenders that are in production to look like the real thing, full carbon, pre-preg. And they're actually doing a little inserts for people who actually have the GT4RS that actually just want those to be carbon fiber as well. They actually do a lot of parts. And actually, if you mention my name, you get a 10% discount off of their website as well. But because Amelia was coming up, they were pushing to get the fenders for me done. And just the Chinese holiday of New Year came and they couldn't, you know, press them out in time. So without the fenders, you have no headlights, you have no bumper, there's no Amelia. So luckily I reached out to Gene and he was like, they're just hanging on my wall, please come and get them. Go out there and showcase.
He's already hacked. The whole front end is gonna be a 718. So he couldn't reuse his factory fenders because they don't work no more with the headlights.
The 981 headlights do not fit 718 nothing. So in doing my conversion, it's got 718 tail lights. Gene showed the picture of, we hacked off the rear quarters. The whole car is pretty identical except for headlights, tail lights, fenders, and the shape of the car is actually the same too. So 718 rear bumper, 718 quarters, 718 wing. I do have the GT4RS wing risers as well. 718 front fenders now, 718 headlights, 718 front bumper. The only thing that you're going to actually notice that it's not a real GT4RS is the fact that it's still PDK. Actually, no. Yeah, GT4RS are PDK. So other than mine actually having the factory fenders at Amelia, you're really going to have a hard time distinguishing mine from a real one. I have even went so far as to buying OEM quarter glass. The OEM GT4RS side intakes for the quarters off the WASA package. So Gene's actually got a picture of those.
They are functional, guys.
Not to the point of they go straight from here to the intake, just because the way that the 981 platform is, there's just no possible way to make them have a filter in the same process. But I have created ducting to where they go from the quarter glass down to the side intakes. So they'll actually be getting air from both parts to go into the air intake.
Super cool, you guys. I got everything being documented. He's sending me videos. Stay tuned for those videos on Matt's build. This is gonna be one insane build. When do you think it'll be done?
It goes to be rewrapped February the 19th.
February 19th. And your
So
fenders,
2 weeks.
Fenders should be in after.
So according to Frog Venom, they will have my fenders March the 20th. You know, we just missed the deadline just by a little bit. It is what it is, but you just overcome. You know, even if I had to go out and buy fenders, I was willing to do that too, because
Nah, we're gonna hook up Matt, dude. He's done a lot for me. If he doesn't need these fenders for life, there's no point of him actually buying a set and then have to sell them afterwards. Mine are just on wall display. You know, he can borrow them as long as he needs until he gets his fenders done.
there is one thing I forgot to mention. It's something that I can tell you, I can show you pictures, but if you didn't know, you would never know. If anybody knows about the GT3s and the GT3 RSs and the 991 variant, had the option for a 23.9 liter fuel tank. The Caymans and Boxsters in the 981 and the 718 either came with like a 14 gallon or the quote unquote extended tank that got you 16.9. So one thing that I have done is I have added a extended fuel tank from a GT3. So that involved actually hacking up the front partition wall here, moving it forward 3 inches, dropping the subframe, steering rack, everything up top was removed, putting in the new GT3 fuel tank. Other than the neck is the same, the fuel center's the same, everything is the same except the tank. And Porsche was really smart. The reason it was only $200 change or an upgrade was the partition wall that's actually separating these two is the same in all variants. The only thing they did was instead of it sitting this way, they flipped it 180 to give you the 3-inch clearance. So everything's the same. I did end up having to go get GT3 carpet, new side panels here to cover the sealant and the toolkit, and I'll actually post a picture of that as well, finished to where it's actually carpeted in and everything looks just like OEM.
Looks super clean, guys. Would never know it was done. So basically, he upgraded his fuel tank for a bigger fuel capacity that a GT3 holds, right?
Correct.
Which is what a difference of what?
7 gallons.
Of 7 gallons.
So
you can add
that's
more
almost
7 more
another
gallons.
half a tank of gas.
Right.
It is more weight. The weight to ratio is 7 gallons of fuel, which actually weighs 6 pounds per gallon for gasoline. So I'm adding 42 pounds to the front, which is, you know, a suitcase, a luggage.
You guys are just adding more weight to the front, gives you that downforce, so that's only a positive in my book.
That's, I mean, the front end's not going to push, I can tell you that.
Right.
So you can actually tag me on that as well. Any questions, comments as well.
There you go, you guys.
Hey Gene, it's Matt. Just going to give you a little update of everything that I've been doing to the Yoshi RS. We've actually got a lot going on right now. I'm going to flip the camera around and give you a little bit of info of what's going on. All right, so if you can see here what we are doing, we have taken off the entire quarter panel off of this, and what we are doing, we are taking and actually putting on the skin to a 718. We're actually going to be putting this on to the 981 body along with this, and what that will look like is exactly over here. And this is the 718 rear tail light bucket onto a 981. So we've got a little bit more body work to do just to make sure that this is all completely smoothed out. We also do have the RS intakes coming from the GT4RS, and I am actually having to work on getting some custom ducts that go in through here, and instead of going to the engine because the intake will just not work, we are actually going to go down into the factory air box. So that way we're still incorporating the factory filters, everything like that. You're still going to get the intake from the side here as well as from the top. Moving up front here, in the GT3s, they had the option of the 23.9 gallon tank. Factory was 63 liters. The GT3s came with the 90 liter tank. So that equals to, 7 more gallons for us, which I actually kind of like because that's almost another half a tank of gas. So what actually has to be done is this panel right here. I looked it up. The GT3 actually has the same part number as the Caymans on 718s and the 981s, but the way that it actually comes up, Gene will post pictures of that, but the panel comes up and in and then up to here. And what that does is that actually takes up the 3 inches of space that is needing. So what we've done now is we've actually cut this panel out and we are going to rotate it 180 degrees to where it actually comes here and back out and then up. and then we're going to re-weld it back in, seam seal it, paint it back to factory color, and make sure that it looks identical. So it will be a 981 with a 24-gallon tank. We actually have a lot more stuff coming from Frog Venom. The GT4RS fenders will be coming in pretty soon, along with the GT4RS front bumper. I already do have their RS hood. It's actually really good quality, so shout out to Frog Venom on all of their products. Moving back here to the back again, as you can tell, I do have the GT4 slots. There's a company out of Scotland that is actually making the wing risers that fit into your GT4 slots that actually incorporate the RS swan neck wing. I'll post a photo of those as well. Give those guys a shout out. They are like $800-900, but they actually do retain the factory mounting locations, and the little bit extra that they do have up here is actually sealed with a 3M double-sided tape to make sure that that is waterproof. So that is all that I have for right now, and I will keep you guys updated. Hey fam, it's Porsche Mod Squad here, and just going to give you a little bit of an update of some of the current mods that I'm actually doing to my Yoshi RS, which is a 981 Cayman, and I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what I've got going on so far. Here we have the two fuel tanks. The one on the right is the 16.9 gallon that did come out of my Cayman S. The one on the right is out of the GT3, which had the option of going up to a 24 gallon tank. And that is actually what I'm getting ready to do right now, is go to the 24 gallon tank. There's quite a bit of modifications involved, shall I say. It's not really for the faint of heart. Everything from the fueler neck to the pump, everything on the internals is all the same, including everything that bolts up top. However, if you want to walk around, you can see the visualization here. There is a significant variation here, and that is because the GT3 tank actually does sit out 3 inches further back than the standard tank, and that is where the modifications actually come into play as well. You can also see the back bracket on the smaller tank bolts to the frame, and actually what mounts here is actually going to be a strap that is also supplied. You know, you have to get that through Porsche or eBay. Let's walk over here to the car and I'll give you a little bit more demonstrations. Okay, we are over here at the car, and as you can clearly tell, that's not factory. What we have had to do is the partition wall that is right here. It is not a structural part. It's literally just a partition wall that separates the front tub from the compartment behind it where the fuel cell is. We have created a whole new panel. I'll upload a picture here to show you over here in the corner of what the factory one looks like. It actually comes up and then back in and up and attaches to the wall here. On the GT3s with the extended tank, that same partition wall with the same part number comes up, and it actually comes this way and up and mounts to this same frame rail here. So what we had to do is I had to cut this out, show pictures of that, and we actually had to flip that whole partition wall around. I didn't like the cuts that I had to do to make it look neat, so we actually just took this off of a GMC truck bed tailgate just because I like the ridges in it for stability as well. And we are going to weld everything back in just like factory. It's going to be painted as well to match the factory color, and hopefully it will look OEM. But what all has to be taken out? Everything up top. So that is including the wiring harnesses, all of the evap systems, the fuel neck, everything is gone, just so we can actually access the tank. This also means removing the radiator hoses that go left and right, along with the fuel tank brace, electric power steering. All of the rear subframe has to come out as well. So this is definitely not a weekend project. It's going to take about a week to actually get everything mocked up, put back in. But I'll show you a little bit of the welding here. So whenever we weld this all back up, we're actually going to go back with the factory seam sealer that is right here. As soon as we are done welding, we are going to put seam sealer all around it, just to where, you know, it will look as factory as possible. Okay, and what we're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna take the larger fuel tank and actually go ahead and put it in the car just so you can see that it does fit. Everything does line up. Like I said, nothing is welded in currently, but this is a in and out process just to make sure everything fits, lines up, and we're all good to go. Okay, all right, here we go, fam. So as you can tell, this is the 981, and here is the larger fuel tank inside the car. And as you can tell, it is very tight up in here. And I actually think it does say GT3. If we zoom in, there you go. So this is a 24-gallon tank into a Cayman that only came in the GT3s and the Cayman Club Sports. Hey guys, just a little recap here. We're actually working on the driver's side fender now and show you what we're mocking up, how we're doing everything. I do have my ducktail actually mocked up as well to make sure that the rear quarter panels do line up with the ducktail to make sure everything is straight, lined up. And I'll flip the camera around and show you what we got going on. All right, and as you can tell, we do have the 7/18 quarter lined up. And yes, that looks like a big gap, but that will actually be taken care of whenever we get everything slid in perfectly. And we still are missing the taillight bucket. As you can tell, there's no way to attach the taillight to, but we do have that coming as well. It is actually right there, which we'll actually put the skin on first to make sure that everything lines up. The skin can go on the inside. And as you can tell, the ducktail actually lines up really, really well here. So give you a little picture of what that will look like. Just making sure everything does line up. We've got the rear wing. Nothing's bolted down, so everything does kind of move. But we do have the driver's side actually welded in. We're gonna actually grind that off, put a little bit of putty on there just to smooth it out, make sure everything's nice, level, and flat. We do have, like I said, everything is together. Let's see if I can close down the trunk here. And we've got pretty decent looking gaps here all the way around. Like I said, nothing is bolted, so it'll look a lot better the next couple of days. Going up to the fuel tank, I did get the front panel secured in with the pop rivets and panel bond, and it's not going anywhere. Still got to go through, put some seam sealer on it, make it look pretty, just to make sure that it is structurally sound. But as you can tell, we have that. We do have the brackets. Let's see if I can get those. We do have the brackets there. We have some up there. It is pop riveted along the bottom, along with all of this silvery gooey stuff that is structure bond. It is freaking sticky, almost like anise, and I don't know why I did that. So other than that, that's all that's been done tonight. If there's any comments, questions, anything like that, leave them down in the comment section below and I'll answer them as good as I can. And that was episode 1 of this 2-part episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Episode 2 will be coming up shortly. Just got to do some more editing on the videos and stuff. Also, the companies that I've been using have been frogvenom.com, Rennmeister.com, and brooksmotos wheels. If you will send them my username, either Yoshi RS or Porsche Mod Squad, the companies have all agreed to give you guys a 10% discount on all of their products. They're actually the ones who have been helping me through all of this transformation. Some of the parts are OEM. If you guys have a question about those as well, like I said, just comment down below. Thank you guys for watching the first installment of turning this car into a replica GT4RS. Stay tuned for part 2, and always share, like, comment, subscribe. We've got a lot more content coming, a lot more creativity coming on this thing, a lot more changes. It does look like this right now, but I have more in store in the next couple of videos coming up. Stick around.